Welcome to Rosh Hashana before Rosh Hashana part 5. We're up to Perek Aleph chapter 1, Mishna Ches, the 8th Mishna in Rosh Hashana. Mishna continues now with the witnesses that would come and testify about the new moon. And the Mishnah tells us that not all people are valid witnesses. Now the general principle in halacha in Jewish law is that someone who has transgressed a sin, done an aveira, is not valid to give testimony in a court. Our Mishnah says that there are certain practices that a person might be involved in that might not be considered outright transgressions, but yet is sort of dodgy behavior or things that are rabbinically forbidden. Those people also become invalid and may not provide testimony for Rosh Chodesh, for the new moon. Says the Mishnah, Elu heina psulim. These are the people who are invalid to give testimony. Hamasachik b'kuvya. It's a type of gambling. It's using it like a dice where they would throw and they would bet and make money. So it's a form of gambling. And according to many commentaries, it might not be technically forbidden, but it's an empty sort of practice. And therefore, if someone does it on a consistent basis, they would be considered invalid to give testimony. Umalvei beribi, someone who lends money for interest, even if it's a sort of structure where it's only rabbinically forbidden. Umafricha, those that fly the pigeons, and this is a form of betting, like nowadays people do horse racing, betting on horse racing. People who would consistently do this with doves would also be invalid. People who do business with the fruit that grows during the sabbatical year, during the Shemitah year, we're not permitted to use that produce for business. If someone does, they become invalid to give testimony. Va'avodim, and also slaves. Non-Jewish slaves, which have a technical halachic status as being Jewish, they may not give testimony for the Rosh Chodesh. This is the general rule. Any testimony that a woman would not be valid, because we know that in Jewish law only a man can be a witness for most cases. All of these people will not be able to give testimony as well. However, there are certain circumstances where a woman can also give testimony, to do with certain cases of aguna, etc. If she'll be able to give testimony, then these people listed in our Mishnah will also be able to give testimony for the Rosh Chodesh, for those cases as well. The last Mishnah in this perek, in this chapter, Mishnah Tes. We're back to someone who sees the moon on Shabbos. Says the Mishnah, Misharos HaChodesh, someone who saw the new moon, but ve'eno yochol halech, he's unwell, he's weak, and he cannot make it to the court, to the Sanhedrin. You can put him on a donkey, which is a further violation of Shabbos. Afilu b'mito, even in a bed. And if they're worried about ambushes or highwaymen or attacks on the way, they can take with them sticks and weaponry to defend themselves, which is another further desecration of Shabbos. If it was distant, it was far away, they can take food, provisions with them. Because as long as they know that they'll be able to get to the court within 24 hours, in other words, in time for the Beis Din to declare the next day Rosh Chodesh, if they live too far and it'll take them 2 days to get there, then it's irrelevant, the whole trip, because by that time the Beis Din would have had to already made the next day Rosh Chodesh. But if they will be able to get there in time to have the 30th day declared as Rosh Chodesh, then they can desecrate the Shabbos. Now, how do we know they can break Shabbos for this mitzvah? Not for every mitzvah can we break Shabbos. How do we know we can break Shabbos for this mitzvah? Shenemar, because it says in the pasuk, Eila moyadei Hashem, these are the festivals of Hashem. Asher tikru'u oisam b'moyadam, that they need to be proclaimed in their right time. And the Gemara says, what does it mean in their right time? B'moyadam means va'afilu b'Shabbos, even on Shabbos. And therefore, if they saw the moon on a Friday night, and that was the beginning of the cycle, they may rush to the court to give testimony, even if it involves breaking Shabbos, as we explained before. Being that it's the end of the chapter, I just want to mention a short thing on Elul. Of course, we're getting closer to Rosh Hashana. We know that in Elul, Hashem is particularly close to us. The closeness between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu during this month is compared to Melech Basada, the king in the field. When a king goes out into the field, is extremely accessible. And everyone can approach him and he welcomes everyone. So too in the month of Elul, we shouldn't miss that opportunity. Hashem is extremely close. We should take the opportunity, increase our connection to Torah and mitzvahs, reflect on the year gone by, and make preparations for the new year. Then in the next session we'll begin Perek Beis, the second chapter. In the meantime, have a wonderful day and Shana Tova.